Welcome back to Morning Joe. Foreign policy is looming large over the final stretch of the presidential campaign, with serious challenges facing the next administration, regardless of who wins in November. In the coming weeks, Morning Joe is diving into the most pressing international issues, beginning today with the Middle East. Joining us now, NBC News senior international correspondent Keir Simmons. Keir?
Hey, Mika, good morning. You know, it is so important, so crucial that you guys are looking in depth at this, that your executive producer, Alex Corson, commissioned this, because I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that this election may be as important to the world as, for example, when FDR was re-elected in 1940 during the height of the Second World War. Billions of people around the world who don't have a vote know that what happens in November may deeply affect their lives. And as you mentioned, today we're going to look at the Middle East and Israel in particular. Whoever is president next year may have to make crucial decisions about the long talked about two-state solution, and that will be profoundly important for the historic Israeli-Palestinian issue. The past 7 decades have seen wars, civil unrest and peace deals. But it's often appeared like little changes when it comes to Israel and the Palestinians. That's not how it looks right now. Whoever is president from January will face a new Middle East and potentially historic decisions. President Trump, along with his son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner, have been moving the needle in ways previously thought unthinkable, and in ways that are perhaps irreversible.
I kept my promise, recognized the true capital of Israel, and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem.
Fulfilling a passionate goal of his evangelical base and shattering the long-held idea of US support for a Palestinian capital in East Jerusalem. The US has recognized Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in 2019 even named a settlement there Trump Heights. And the Trump administration recognized Israeli settlements in the West Bank as legal, going against decades of US policy that had considered the communities illegal under international law. Then, this month, a peace deal that read more like a trade deal signed at the White House between Israel, the UAE and Bahrain. Ambassador Dor Gold knows Prime Minister Netanyahu well.
Since President Trump took office, the relationship between the American president and the Israeli prime minister has been very close, with a lot of understanding of Israel's dilemmas, Israel's problems.
The chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee says, crucially, the Gulf states are ready to move on.
I think they're tired of the situation. They're tired of the situation not changing. They see clearly that Iran is on a very bad path and a wrong path. As far as the Palestinians are concerned, I think they see that they have missed opportunity after opportunity.
The Palestinians have not taken a seat at the table for recent negotiations during Trump's so-called deal of the century. The Palestinian ambassador to the United Kingdom was based in Washington until the Trump administration shuttered the Palestinian mission to the United States 2 years ago.
What President Trump and Netanyahu are doing is abracadabra. You know, it's the abracadabra. Hopes the rabbit has disappeared. The Palestinians have disappeared.
The chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee told us that the Palestinians have misjudged their negotiations. They got it wrong.
This is not about centimeters of land here and there. This is about human, sheer, pure, crude human dignity, human rights, human aspirations.
The Trump administration has changed geopolitics, but look closely at the facts on the ground, and it's clear future presidents will have to deal with some harsh realities. Over the past 2 decades, over 600,000 Jewish settlers have built communities in parts of East Jerusalem and the West Bank.
First thing out there is the town
land promised to the Palestinians for a future state.
This is our historic homeland. This is where our roots are. This is where our identity is. That doesn't mean that we hate Arabs. That doesn't mean that we reject that they should have decencies, rights, and upward mobility. It just means that this is our land.
But that's an impossible idea to the Palestinians.
This land, sooner or later, according to the Israelis' plan, it will be taken. And to be honest, we will not be able to do anything because we are talking about power on this side and weak on the other side.
Awad Abbasawi says his family has owned this land for generations, which now sits in the shadow of this settlement.
Taking this part of land from me, it's like taking my life.
Solving this historic impasse is the deal President Trump hasn't done. During his last election, Prime Minister Netanyahu promised to, quote, apply Israeli sovereignty over or annex parts of the West Bank. Would Israel annexing parts of the West Bank make a two-state solution impossible?
It makes it harder and harder with each step that Israel takes to resolve what are called final status issues in advance of negotiations between the parties. It shrinks the space for a possible resolution. And I think shrinking space for a peaceful resolution may have the unintended consequence of increasing the likelihood of conflict.
Who wins the election in November could be the deciding factor. And Senator Chris Coons there, who is being talked about as a possible Secretary of State under a President Biden. Meanwhile, the current Secretary of State, Secretary Pompeo, saying this year about the possibility of annexation of parts of the West Bank, the Israelis will ultimately make those decisions. Guys, Ambassador Gold, the Israeli ambassador, told us that annexing parts of the West Bank, even under a President Biden, is a distinct possibility because it is important for Israel's security.
Okay, NBC's Keir Simmons, thank you so much. We look forward to your next report.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.